7N, Whiskey Uniform 7 November, standing by for net.
Welcome to the Western Washington Amateur Television Society Net. We meet Wednesday evenings, 8 p.m. until 9 p.m. and Saturday evenings, 8 p.m. until 9 p.m. Using this repeater, 14708 machine, for the voice portion of our net. We send pictures to a repeater on Cougar Mountain, and it requires a little different equipment to pick up the pictures, but you can see them on our on the internet. Google WW7ATS, Western Washington Amateur Television Society, and click on stream, and you should see what we're sending. Before we commence the net, anyone have any traffic, any communications you wish to originate? Go ahead now, please. Nothing heard. Well, we'll get the net started. So far checked in, I heard WU7N And I saw KD7QKU. Would anyone else like to check in at this time? Go ahead, please. Well, it's going to be a short night, although we are kind of just getting started here. Okay, Bellevue Jim, WU7N. Go ahead, sir, N7QO.
Well, good evening, Jim. Good evening, Ron. I counted 28 seconds, the delay time, on streaming for anybody watching us on the ever-helpful internet. 28 seconds. And I think it's about 46 degrees out on my porch right now, plus or minus a couple of degrees there. It's not exactly a high temperature, a high accuracy temperature measuring device. I went and splurged the big bucks on a couple of things. One was an infrared optical thermometer at Harbor Freight. I think it was about $16, and I got another free item I don't need to fill up my garage. Another thing I got is a little box from China, and it's an HDMI to NTSC converter. And I'm just curious to know if anybody, if either one of you two guys or anyone else listening has had any experience with these kinds of converters. I haven't even gotten mine out of the little plastic sack, and it occurred to me I need to do that pretty quickly, because if it doesn't work, I need to return it to the fine folks in China that built it. But I'm assuming it'll take any HDMI display off the computer, convert it to NTSC, and then I can put it into a transmitter and send it up to the hill up there. So if anybody has any thoughts on that or ideas, let me know. This is WU7N, James in Bellevue. Back to net.
Thank you, Jim. Well, I do not have any ideas on that. I do not have any such device right now. I need something myself to take probably a VGA output and convert that to composite video NTSC. I've seen those advertised. It's on my list of things to purchase, but I don't have a computer in the shack here, so that will require extra effort on my part. Maybe Ron or someone else could comment on that. 87QKU. Go ahead, sir, and 7QO.
Connected, N7KC.
Okay, I looked at my radio here to make sure I'm on which frequency. I did turn on the computer up on super low, so it's on continuously. Sometimes that helps. And Jim, your picture is a little there tonight. Good evening, Jim. N712. Good evening, James. WU7M. Anybody else listening? Good evening to me. I'm just setting attention, and he shows up. Ready to go here. Man, I was almost asleep. I looked out in the yard this afternoon. Man, oh man, I was bending over pulling leaves and stuff in my poor old back. And the signal set kind of freaked me out. So I was in the recliner after dinner there, and luckily I came in and turned the computer on so it did all of the scans and everything. So let's see. No, James, I don't know anything about that little instrument you're talking about. Gary would, or I don't know if Bob would, or maybe for sure Rob. K7QJ, 2K7QJ. Rob would know for sure. So you'd have to give one of those guys a call. And I don't know, we haven't heard from Bob, or we haven't heard from Gary for quite a while now. I don't know if we should be worried about him or not. So anyway, we have Leon here, so I guess I will turn it over to him.
Okay. Well, this is N7KC in Port Angeles on Skype, courtesy of the internet here. Well, let's see, good evening. I know James is there, and I also heard N7QO and Ron. I don't know if anybody else is there or not. I was slightly late getting here. I realized today that I used to do a lot of photography, a lot of darkroom work. And in my collection of stuff, I had a Greylab 520, a digital timer for enlargers and so forth. I had a big Bechler, I still do, a big 4x5 Bechler. Anyway, I went out and I fished it out of the garage today, and I cleaned it up and set it up here. So with a foot switch on it, and I set it for 2 minutes and 30 seconds. And so all I do when I key the transmitters, I just tap the foot switch, and the timer's off and running. And at the end of the term, it has a metronome, counts off at 1 second intervals, so I have that turned off. And it has a tone that will, when the count is completed, 2 minutes and 30 seconds for me, while the tone will go beep. And so then that gives me, if I'm not paying attention to that timer, then I should have adequate warning to unkey the transmitter and not time it out. And it's a digital thing. You can put any time in it. It's got two different memory positions, so you can have 2 different times set in and cycle between them. And then once it resets itself, it goes back to the same time. So I don't even have to put the same time in again. Just tap the foot switch again and so forth. So I'm down 36 seconds left in my 2 minutes and 30 seconds that I've allotted myself. And I don't know, it was not a bad day over here. This month, we've only had 0.78 inches of rain here this month. It's been really dry for March. And yesterday, I'm kind of like Ron. I'm completely exhausted tonight. I don't know. I've been doing kind of a lot around the yard and stuff, and spread a lot of fertilizer yesterday and whatnot. So anyway, okay, here we go. I'm assuming that Jim's running it. There's my 2 minutes and 30 seconds. So this is N7KC, Lee in Port Angeles. Going to send it back to N7QR. Go ahead, Jim.
Thank you, Lee. Well, at this time we will ask for any late or missed check-ins. Anyone out there? Please come now.
WW7ATS.
Okay, thank you, Jim. And I also saw Gary. Let's see, so I got Rochester Jim, and I got Gary. Anyone else out there? Come now, please. Okay, nothing heard. Let me turn it over to you, Rochester Jim, WB7BHN. Go ahead, sir.
And I'd like to say thanks to Ron for sending the images of the equipment that the club's supposed to come into possession of pretty soon. I got a few questions about it. It looked like it had what was it, PCI or something like that. I think it's a PC or something, transceiver seeing it. And there's a down converter I can see there. And I didn't, they had an item there with some numbers on it that looked like it. I didn't know what it was. But I didn't really see any amplifier on it. It might have been the piece of equipment that had the number on it, which is what it was, and I don't have the images up here in front of me to see what they were. But looks pretty interesting, and looks like it ought to be a lot of fun anyway when we get it. So see if we can find a place to put it up and have a couple repeaters up. That'd be pretty nice. So with that, we'll put it back to them. WB7ATS.
Thank you, Jim. Well, Gary, go ahead, sir, and 7QO.
7QO in the group. Let me get the mic down here. N7QO in the group K7HYB. Somebody got their video operators transmitter keyed.
It's keyed. It's just, oh, there you are. We see you good now. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. N7QO-K7HYB with the group. And good evening all. I apologize for my absence in the last week and a half. I have been otherwise involved in other things that were important to me. Let me get my camera up here. Oops. What's going on here? I have no camera today. Oh, here we go. There we go. Ah, that was nice. Okay. There's the internal cam. And I'm sitting here getting my dinner. I'm running late. Let me drop it here. And I got a copy of the pictures from Ron, which were a little more detailed than the ones I got from K7 ITX. But I came to the conclusion that, probably based on observation, it's a crossband repeater, 434 in and 1.2 something out. I haven't deciphered that one yet. It's got the same tuner that I have. It's a 1.2 gigahertz down converter. I was able to establish that much. And it's operating on channel 4, I think. I'm on channel 2 here with 1253. So I'm assuming that channel 4 would be a couple of digs higher. Anyhow, and no, I did not see any amplifier. That's a 20 watt. That's a 20 watt PC Electronics 434 transmitter, and that's probably all it put out. Anyway, I don't want to dominate things, but that's my initial assessment of the situation, and I'll flip it back to you, Jim, for further comment. N7QO K7HYB.
N7QO. Thank you, Gary. Well, I've got one further comment. Doing other things other than ham radio, my goodness. I've got to give you some kickback on that there since you gave it to me a couple of weeks ago. Nothing's more important than ham radio. That is the prime directive. Just my 2 cents there. Let's see. Well, people were talking about being a little tired. I'm a little tired too. I have an excuse. Yesterday, my wife and I spent a couple periods during the day attending seminars regarding Social Security and Medicare. My goodness, a whole lot of details out there, and if you fall asleep for even a minute, you're going to miss a whole lot. Fortunately, I was awake, but I've been paying the price a little bit today. I'm just a little bit slow today. I'll get back with the repeater a little bit later here. Don't have any more information on that. But right now, we would like to see, are there any additional late check-ins or missed check-ins? Come now, please. Nothing heard? Well, we'll go up to the top of the list again. This is Western Washington Amateur Television Society Net. And we'll go to Bellevue Jim, WU7N. Go ahead, sir, N7QO.
Okay, this is Bellevue Jim, WU7N, Northeast Bellevue. Well, there must be something going around because I actually napped out for a couple of hours in the middle of the day, which is not my usual routine. Maybe it's just a change in the weather barometric pressure or something. one question I also had for the group tonight on Echolink. I know that to get my Wi-Fi to work with my cell phone with one router I had to put in some special port assignments on my firewall. I guess Lee, it might be more knowledgeable than anyone else on this. Did you have to do anything special to your router to get it Echolink to function? I'm pretty sure that to go from station to station, you do have to do something. But anyway, I'm just curious if anybody has any information on that. Other than that, pictures are looking good tonight. I'm getting to the 1.2 gig downhertz real time. Right now I'm seeing Jim up there, and on the scale of 1 to 5, you're a good solid 3. And Lee and Ron, you are definitely, as usual, nice 4 with good color in there. I too looked at the pictures, and that looks very much like, very similar to the transmitter I have checked out from the club. I didn't know it was 20 watts. Maybe mine's putting out that much too. I did not realize that if it was. Now I'm all curious about that. I'm going to have to actually get out an ammeter and see how much current that transmitter is drawing. Maybe it's drawing more than I thought it was. That's it for this round for me. James in Northeast Bellevue, WW7N, back to the net.
And 7QO. Thank you, Jim. Well, if it's that 10-watt PC Electronics transmitter, some of them are actually 10 watts, but some of them have had transistors replaced, turning them into 20-watt transmitters. I have one just like that. Well, I shouldn't say that because I have not looked at the pictures to which everyone is referring. But the one that I have says 10 watts, and it really is only 10 watts. But some of them have been converted to 20, and then I know subsequently sold units are 20 watts out the door. Okay, back to you, Ron. KD7QKU and 7QO. Go ahead.
never be able to get them out, I don't know. So yeah, and as far as the power, James, mine says that it's a TC70-20F. And supposedly those were 20-watt transmitters, but I think when Lee tested a few of them, I think maybe they only put out about 15 watts. I don't know. Lee will confirm that or not. I don't know. Did any of them? I don't know if any of them put over more than 20 or not. Anyway, so we're not sure what the gentleman in Tacoma has, but he wanted to give it to a good home, and so I guess we're going to let him. We're going to take it. All right, back to that, or over to Lee, I guess.
Okay, N7KC, Lee here in Port Angeles. So let me say first hi to Gary, and Rochester Jim, good evening to you. And listen guys, I set up a lot of TC70-20s and others. They came in they came in 2 watts and 10 watts and 20 watts and whatnot, but most everybody had 20 watts. I was never able to get 20 watts out of them. I think I had one that did 18 watts and maybe one that was 16. But you know, when you're setting up a video transmitter, the way you do that is you do a blackburst, and what you do is you measure the average power, and then you have to compute what the actual transmitter power is because of the nature of the waveform. And so you go into, I have a microwave power meter, and so you go into that sort of thing. So you measure the average power on a blackburst, and if you have a waveform monitor so you can make sure that it's set up properly, well then you can compute what the output power is because its average is peak times duty cycle. So anyway, but I don't think I ever saw one less than about 16 watts, and they're very finicky to set up. They're sort of stagger pins, so you.
Thank you, Lee. Thank you, Ron. Wow, that digital timer. Lee, that is absolutely superb. That's great. If it were me, I just would have got something from the dollar store, and I'm sure it would not have been capable of foot actuation. So that's really pretty cool. I got to do something about setting up my shack here one of these days, but I don't know. Life goes on. Anyway, I did not get to see the pictures of the repeater which we have, so I cannot really comment on that. But regarding a 1.2 transmitter, I can tell you what I think. Let me reset. It seems to me that for some reason the 1.2 exciter, which we are now using at Cougar Mountain, actually belonged to Chandler, and Chandler took the one that we had up there. I don't recall if it broke or if he was just going to do some testing on it. I don't recall the details of that. I did not see that at his house when I was there, but I didn't get a comprehensive look around, so we can investigate that. But so we'll need to do some work in that area. We might have a another 1.2 exciter somewhere. Let's see here. Rochester Jim, have a question for you. You said something. Reset again. Sometime not too long ago, you mentioned something about the possibility of a high power
70 centimeter power amplifier. Just curious if you had a chance to investigate that any further. What were the results of that check? And I guess that's about it. We'll go now to Rochester Jim, WB7BHN and 7QO. Go ahead.
Investigated any further. I was going to call the company and find out if they've done anything with TV signals on it. But I don't think that it is really made for TV signals. Most of them have to have some extra capacitors and filtering and stuff to work with a TV. And I doubt that these two. But I was going to call them and put it on. I just haven't got around to it yet. The things are rather expensive anyway. I get one that runs 770 watts or something, which on TV you'd have to back the power off considerable, and that could probably maybe run 300 watts or something. We want to think about, I think it's over $3,000 for the thing, so it would be kind of expensive anyway. And that's probably the main reason I haven't called them yet, because I figured it was out of the price range that I would be willing to pay for an amplifier. So with that, we'll turn it back to that WB7BHN.
And 7QO. Okay, thank you, Jim. Well, yeah, from where I am, that would be 300 watts. I don't know, maybe on the order of 9 decibels better than what I've got now. But I'd have to find another antenna to accommodate that, I think. Yeah, anyway, I'm not in a position to act on that now. Anyway, but so thanks for the information there, and I'll file that away in the back of my memory bank somewhere, and maybe investigate that at some future date. Well, Gary, your turn now. K7HYB and 7QO. Go ahead, sir.
And 7QO, K7HYB. And let me throw my signal up here. The latency is terrible tonight, and the return on the live signal is not very good either. Let me put my call sign up. There we go. Yeah, I concur pretty much with what everybody's saying. I did not see anything in that picture that would indicate that there was anything other than a down converter for 1.2 gigahertz. I would suspect they were, that just based on observation from the pictures that I saw, I would suspect that, let me get my, I don't have my overhead lights on here, damn it. I would suspect that they were doing just the reverse that we are. We're using full 40 in and 1.2 out. They're using 1.2 gig and 440 out. I think that's why the transmitter's there. If you notice, the video and the audio signal are plugged into the transmit side, and the key is in the transmit position. So that would lead me to believe that that was the case. That's how they were using it. And I don't see anything other. They did have monitors there. Let me drop up here. They did have monitors there that indicate they could look at both the transmit and receive signal. They don't have any sophisticated switching or anything like that. It looked like it was pretty much all manual switching rather than electronic, like what we have. I would say it was pretty basic, really, and I was kind of hoping there might be some digital indications there, but I don't see any evidence of that. Unless on closer inspection, something works out that way. And I didn't know if we were, I didn't know what the, I haven't been contacted as far as what their disposition wants to be. And from what I hear Ron saying, it sounds like they want to dispose of it and give it to us. I was kind of hoping that we might be able to integrate their operation into ours and get some interest boiling down there. Maybe that's still possible, but we need to look at it some more. Anyway, that's my assessment. And yeah, Jim, I will take that as a good shot. I deserve that. And you're right. We'll so anyway, back to you there. Back to you, Jim. Have at it in 7QO K7HYB.
N7QO. Thank you, Gary. Well, that's an interesting observation. I wish I had looked at the pictures. It did not occur to me to turn on my computer and check before this net. But yeah, before I came to Seattle, a television club in Houston did it just that way. And in fact, Chandler was familiar with that very same club in Houston. They transmitted the pictures out of the repeater on 70 centimeters. That would kind of make sense if there's no 1.2 transmitter there. Either that or maybe it didn't get all of the pictures, which is possible as well, I suppose. Anyway, let's see. We will take late or missed check-ins. This is Western Washington Amateur Television Society Net. If there are any late or missed check-ins, come now, please. Nothing heard. Back to the top of the list. WU7N and 7QO. Go ahead, sir.
Okay, yeah, I still looked at the same pictures, and I'm not quite sure what they were doing with the equipment. Maybe there was something not in a picture. It didn't occur to me exactly how they were using this as a repeater. One thought occurs to me, maybe it was simply a station. Maybe it was never used as a repeater. I don't know. Just a thought. Other than that, one question I have for Ron in Port Angeles, and I don't know if we want to say this on the air or not, maybe we could exchange emails what the node number is for this repeater we're speaking on using as our audio link, because I can't seem to find that online. So other than that, let me go ahead and turn it back to Nat then. This is WU7N, James in Bellevue.
Thank you, Jim. K87QKU and 7QO. Go ahead, Ron.
in the group, K87QKU. Well, Gary, there seemed to be some confusion about where the equipment was, and it ended up that it was in University Place in Tacoma in a storage facility. So it was in a storage facility, along with some other radio equipment, I think. And it, you know, it didn't exactly look like a transmitter to me. It looked like it could be somebody's tape. So I don't know whether there could be more stuff if the fellow's memory improves and we find out that maybe there's some more stuff if he thinks about it. Or maybe there isn't. So I don't know. But anyway, this stuff was in that storage facility. And Richard, of course, not being familiar with it, didn't know what all was there. I asked Richard about hardline and coax and everything, and he didn't know much. He didn't know whether there was any there or not. So anyway, but the fellow was real anxious to get it out of the storage unit and get it to us. So I think in the near future, like in the next week or two, I think we'll probably take possession of it. And if I get a chance, I'll go and I'll but I can maybe better Rob to go or something get that off for us. We'll get what we can get and make the best of it, I guess. So let's go over to Lee.
Okay, this is Lee here in Port Angeles. Well, Gary, well, first off, let me say to James, I did nothing about setting up ports. I took my Android phone, I went to the Play Store, I downloaded Echolink, I put my call in when it asked for it, and I was off and running. No ports to set, no nothing. Anyway, that's how simple it was. I was previously registered with Echolink. That wasn't any problem. Hey guys, I want to show you the timer here. Ron, did that timer come up? Okay, well this is what my Graylab 520 timer looks like. 2 minutes and 30 seconds. And I have the metronome turned off. I have the intensity of the lights turned to high. I have the tone on. I have the safe light off. And it's in exposure mode. And then this plug-in up here is the foot switch. So I just tap the foot switch and away it goes, and it resets itself to 2 minutes and 30 seconds, and I'm on cycle 1, I can have cycle 2, which would have an entirely different time in it. This thing is so slick, I can't believe I didn't think of using this a long time ago. Anyway, I didn't. Okay, now the other thing that I want to do is to take a look at, let's see, Ron, do you see the transmitter here? Oh, hang on here a second. Oh, I see what I have to do. Hang on a second here. I'm down to 20 seconds. I got to get it on here really, really quick. Should be there now, Ron. Okay. Well, good. I think call.
Thank you, Lee. Thank you, Ron. Rochester Jim, WB7BHN. Go ahead, sir, and 7QO.
This WB7BHN. Well, I was thinking with that down converter, all they need is something that can convert the RF permit to composite video. Maybe that down converter plugs into something, converts it to composite video, and then the lines that come around the side of the transmitter and plug in there, or that composite video coming from something. Well, there's probably another box or something in there that they're doing that with, because you have a PD channel, I believe, out of the down converter. You just need to convert it to the composite video and run it back into the transmitter, I think. But I'm not that familiar with that whole NTSC stuff that you guys are using, so I'm just kind of guessing from what little I know about it. But there is a down converter that was designed to go to something. A repeater. So we'll turn it back to next WB7BHN.
Thank you, Jim. K7HYB and 7QO. Go ahead, Gary.
And 7QO, K7HYB. Well, I think I can answer that question. An observation, I would, because it works pretty much the same way that mine did here. it goes into a switch. The down converter kicks it down to channel 8. And from there, it goes into one of those TV sets to monitor the input. And, I'm having a heck of a time with cameras tonight. Anyway, the down converter comes out of channel 8, and it dumps into one of those receivers. And apparently, from there, there must be some kind of a demodulator there that I didn't see that turns it into video, what sends it over to the transmitter. But, you know, just a basic analysis tells me that this is the crossband in reverse of what we're using. And I'd have to look at the arrangement and the pictures a little bit more. Let me put the call sign up because my cameras aren't picking up anything worth looking at, especially me. But it has to go into some kind of a decoder. The analog video out of the down converter on channel 8, and unless it was reprogrammed to something else, it could have possibly been done. That converter could possibly have kicked out the video at the IF frequency of the TV set. That's another thing that is possible. So without further information, it's really hard to make a judgment. But it's without a doubt, it's operating 1.2 in and 440 out. There's no doubt in my mind at all that's the way it's working. Now, what goes on intermediately is hard to say. Take a look at the equipment, and it's too bad that somebody else doesn't want to let me drop it up earlier. And it's too bad that somebody doesn't want to pick it up down there and try to take it on. I really feel bad about that because, you know, I suppose we could use the equipment, but we've already got duplicates of that stuff pretty much. And I don't know, do we need another repeater? We've had a couple of people that are showing interest who are interested in looking for gear. Maybe this is the way to get it. That's a good transmitter. I might even buy it myself. Mine's only 1 watt here, and of course then I'm driving a 65 watt power amplifier after that too. So anyway, I need a little more antenna. Back to you, Dave, or back to you, Jim. Covington Jim, N72 OK7HYB.
N7QO. Thank you, Gary. Well, we're at the bottom of the list. This is Western Washington Amateur Television Society Net. Are there any late or missed check-ins? Come now, please.
KF7BJI for just a quick in and out.
KF7BJI. Go ahead, sir.
N7QO and from KF7BJI. Good evening, guys. Hey, just a quick, well, non-update really. There's been no movement, no construction, no anything from Cougar Mountain. We're kind of still at a standstill until something happens, and that's on their end. There's been no finalization on the other deal. There's just been no movement of any kind. So I don't know. So, but anyway, that's the latest and greatest as far as up there at Cougar goes. So. Why things are slow moving or non-moving, no idea. But anyway, that's where we're at. Anyway, just figured I'd share that just for me because KF7BJI back to net.
N7QO. Well, thank you, Rich. That's good information. It's useful for us to know that. Yeah, sometimes things happen, things get slowed down. Maybe contracts are being negotiated or things delayed for one reason or another. Who knows? But thank you very much for that information. We appreciate it. Any more later missed check-ins coming out, please? Nothing heard. Well, back to the top of the list, and looks like this is probably going to be our last go-around. WU7N N7QO. Go ahead, sir.
Thank you, Jim. This is James in Northeast Bellevue, WU7N. Something just caught my ear. Are we stuck or something on someone to go pick up this equipment? I would say, I could go get it. Tomorrow's not a good day, but Friday I could go get it. Possibly Sunday, too. So that's just a thought. If it's just a matter that there's no one to drive down there and pick it up, I can sure fix that problem for us. I think any ATV equipment is good equipment in the possession of the club as opposed to the local landfill. So anyway, with that thought, I will say 73 to everybody. Good net tonight. Sure appreciate everybody checking in. WU7N.
Thank you, Jim. Well, Ron's coming up next. I will let him correct me if I am wrong. But here's what my understanding is. The fellow who is supposed to assist us in getting the equipment has had a death in the family, so the retrieval of the new repeater equipment is delayed for approximately, we're guessing a week. It may be more than that, but that's the delay on that. And Rich here was talking about relocating our repeater from one building to another up at Cougar Mountain. So that is on hold for right now. It's not off, but it's at least on hold for now. Hope that clarifies it. And in the event that I'm wrong, Ron, maybe you could correct me. And it's your turn now. KD7QKU. Go ahead, sir, N7QO.
N7QO on the new KD7QKU. No, Jim's absolutely right. We're talking about two different things. Rich and N7QKR. This person who was talking about Cougar Mountain, and then I was talking about Richard N7ITS. And he has a pickup. As a matter of fact, the gentleman that's given us the equipment has a pickup. And I don't know if he can continue much driving. So I was just talking to Lee here on Skype, and I suggested that he send these pictures to Mario. Mario indicated that he helped build that repeater. And Mario's opinion of what we're saying, they might be just seeing one of their stations. This microwave station might not be a match. The guy might be receiving on the down converter and putting it out on the TV set, and he might be transmitting. It's like you guys say, it's kind of confusing. So maybe Mario can shed light on it, and there might be more equipment. Mario might say, no, that's not the computer. It's here. It's really different. And then we have to try to find out about it. It sounded like the gentleman's memory wasn't very good, and he even forgot that it was in the storage facility. And then called the dispatch and said, no, I guess it's in the storage facility in University Place. So who knows? I mean, there could be more. And Richard said at his house, the guy has ham here in his garage, his but thank you very much for offering that. The only reason I was going to go is this is Richard with company. Like I say, he has a picture nose inside. He thought he could load the equipment by himself and then he needs my help to load it. So we'll see. I told him if it was raining, I would be glad to bring my pickup because that mechanic work. He does not have a pickup. So, so we'll have to wait and see. I haven't heard from him. He sent me a text and told me that we're calling on that. All right, well, let's pass it on over to N17.
Okay. Well, listen, it occurs to me that, James, I didn't answer your question properly. When you go on Echolink to look for this Echolink to 14708, look for W7DME-R, W7 Delta Mike Echo-R. The machine that's being used has got Mike's call on it, so that maybe that's why you can't find it. So, go to the USA and all that sort of stuff, 7 land, and then look for W7 DME-R, and I think you'll find it. Other than that, we don't have a lot of time left, so I'm not going to go show any more pictures. But, no, I think Gary called it correctly. I do have Mario's current email address, and I can forward that stuff down to him for comment. But he did tell me that what Scott was using was one of the pieces of equipment he built many years ago, and it. So anyway, there you go. But I think Gary hit it right on the head. You would never see a TC70 sitting there with a PTL line in use and audio and videos into it if that weren't the main transmitter. So I think good going, Gary. Good job. Okay, this is in 73s, everybody. I think this is my last hurrah. Okay, this is N7KC. I'm Lee. I'm in Port Angeles. I'm going to send it back to Jim.
Connected, WW7N.
And it says that you are connected, Jim, Bellevue Jim. Well, thank you, Lee, and thank you, Ron. And now it is Rochester Jim's turn, WB7BHN. Go ahead, sir, N7QO.
It's WB7BHN. Well, it looks like the hour's about up, and I'll send 73 to everybody. It's going to be interesting to get that equipment and see what all's there. I can think of 2 or 3 possibilities, depending on what the monitors are. And stuff I used to work on an X-ray equipment is to run composite video into a monitor and out of a monitor. So I suppose it might be possible that the monitors there have composite output sound converter to run to one of the monitors, and then you can get the sound by the belly right out of that monitor if it has terminals for it. It's hard to say. They look like they're pretty good monitors anyway. But it'll be interesting to see what it's got, and then I guess that stuff's got to have a controller and everything. This new digital stuff I've got doesn't take much to control it, because you can put your call sign, your repeater's call sign, right into the modulator for it, and it'll transmit it all the time with the digital signal, and then you just tell the receiver whether you want to display it or not. And so it can either not see it or have it come up on your monitor to get the images. So with that, we'll say 73s, and we'll talk to everybody next time. WB7BHN.
Thank you, Jim. Gary, K7HYB, your turn, sir, N7QO.
N7QO, Kilowatt 7 Hotel Yankee Bravo. And good evening, everybody. Yeah, that was a very preliminary assessment, and you know, that thinking back on it, I did not see anything that I would consider to be a demodulator to come from channel 8 to video. So what I do here is I use this SDR that I've got that's tuned to channel 8, and that automatically turns the signal into composite video for the program that I'm running on my laptop. But because the signal is so low that it won't go into any of the receivers that I've got here that'll choose channel 8 to give me a composite signal. So it's just noise, it won't key it. So that's the way I've got to do it until I get my signal stronger. But I'll look at some more of the pictures and see if I can come up with anything else that it might be interesting. 73 is all. I'm glad I could make it tonight. The latency on the link is terrible. I'm not even. I've been talking for probably a minute, and I haven't even come up yet on the call sign. All I see is Jim there. That's all right. I don't mind looking at your mug, Jim. But anyway, say these, everybody. Jim, good. Lee, Ron, good chatting with you, and we'll see you next time. We'll see you Saturday night. Good, well, the Lord willing. K7HYB.
87QKU.
Go ahead, Ron.
I just wanted to make a comment. There was 3 monitors there, you know, professional type monitors. I think there was only 2 of them in the picture, but Richard said there was another one there. And I thought he'd probably give us that. He thought he'd probably give us anything that was there. So I think that maybe I'll get a chance to look at any of it. It was Friday, last Friday, that Richard said to me that he saw them all. This last Friday. All right, 73 is everybody tonight.
Well, thank you, gentlemen. Thank you for participating. Thank you for the pictures, and hope to catch you next net, which will be Saturday evening, 8 p.m. We're turning the 14708 machine back to normal operation at this time. We are terminating the net. You've been listening to the Western